Hello YouTube, this is Morgan Airspeed Prime here with my next Avatar news update video. So a little bit to cover here, we'll get straight into it here. So the first one is a reminder that will lead us into our first news topic. So it's just a reminder that next week, September 16th, so that's next Tuesday, but also Wednesday for comic book stores, this product is going to be coming out. So this is the Fire and Family Treasury boxed set. So this is the boxed set version of the Avatar one-shot comic trilogy number 2, basically the one-shots numbered 4, 5, and 6. So Azula in the Spirit Temple, Bounty Hunter in the Tea Brewer, and Ashes of the Academy. The boxed set is just these three individual comics in the actual box, and you do also get a poster. They did this for the previous one, Team Avatar Treasury, though of course at the time when this product came out, we didn't know what their plans were for like other editions. Now we know that that already has its library edition, and the omnibus edition is coming out in a couple of months. So immediately the idea here is that, hey, this time out we know they are going to do a library edition and an omnibus edition, so I don't think there's as much of a demand for this particular edition of the book. Maybe you really want the poster, that's fine. Maybe you like the individual issues and you just want to get them this way, fair enough. But as someone who already has the individual copies, I don't need this because I know they're doing the other ones. And what do you know? Just today, or maybe last night, the listing went up for the Fire and Family Treasury Library Edition. So this is the big hardcover version of this series. So straight away confirmation that, hey, you probably don't need to focus on this because next year, June 2nd, 2026, and I guess also the 3rd for comic book stores, we are getting our library edition of the second Avatar one-shot trilogy. So, in terms of the description, the only real kind of notable thing is that, okay, it collects the 3 books and has a bonus sketchbook section. Now, they don't mention the annotations here, but I will say the image definitely looks like it's a little wider than your kind of standard kind of size comic. So I'm assuming, like the previous library edition for the one-shots, they had annotations, that they'll also have annotations for this one. But we have to, of course, wait and see on that. But it does mean that, of course, the library edition is going to have like a little bit of kind of like extra content, of course. Obviously, when the omnibus edition comes out, it won't have annotations, but it should have the bonus sketchbook. That seems to be the way they always do that. We, of course, don't have a listing yet for the omnibus edition of this. I'm guessing it will probably be either late next year or at some point in 2027. Depending on what the full kind of plan is for this. But, you know, they seem to be getting all the different editions of these books out. But just a reminder, yeah, when it comes to this one, which is going to be out next week, it's not really a focus. I'm not getting it because my focus is more on, you know, the hardcovers and the omnibus editions, obviously. So, with that out of the way, let's jump into the next one here. So we switch away from books and stuff like that into some TCG accessory stuff. Because, of course, Avatar Magic the Gathering is out in November. And, you know, we're expecting some accessory stuff to come out, not just the actual cards, obviously. So I mentioned this before, I think in my actually last news update video, that, hey, Beetle and Grimm were doing a token set. We now have the first image of that token set. It is just one image. It's not everything that's in the box, because you'll note here it just shows the box and the 5 dice. Whereas, of course, the listing includes a metal life counter, +1/+1 counters as Pai Sho tiles. Here are the dice, of course, 7 token cards in metal. Instead, we just get what the tin is and a mock-up of the dice. So the tin is cool. It's using the standard card art, the front side of the Avatar Aang Mythic Rare card, which I think is very, very cool. So just as a tin, that seems kind of interesting just by itself. Some people might just be interested in it for that, just to get a very unique Aang art on a tin. But the 5 dice, you can see here, we have air, water, and earth as basically a spin down life counter. Your standard magic kind of 20-sided dice. And then they do the fire dice as two standard 6-sided dice, because of course within the set, fire is both in red and also in black, kind of representing the two kind of sides of it, I guess, which is somewhat interesting. So one of those ones to just keep an eye out on, just to see when the other stuff goes live. The Pie Show +1/+1 counters sound interesting, and I am interested to see what the life counter looks like, because it's based on card art from the set. So what's that going to kind of really mean? And then yeah, what art is on the tokens? It's probably going to be a little bit expensive. I think it's like $30 something for what's actually in it, but as a more kind of deluxe set of like specific avatar accessories, seems kind of interesting. While we still don't have any listings for Ultra Pro avatar stuff, we do have these deck boxes that kind of came out of nowhere. So this is a Gatherer's Tavern, that's the manufacturer. Their Domaru deck box. Now they have one of these for each of the elements. So you can see here, air, earth, fire, and water. So we'll take a look at these, of course. So what they are, of course, this image probably shows it off a little bit better. It's your kind of fancier deck box. The cards go in kind of like sideways rather than facing up. You do get kind of leather-esque kind of card dividers. You actually get two of them. And of course, it's got the kind of magnetic kind of clasp as the kind of cover comes over the top. So it's this sort of more deluxe style deck box here. This is, you know, I think they're going for like, the price is meant to be like $30 each. It's somewhat expensive for like a deck box for one deck, but you know, for a deluxe one for your favorite deck, it's a nice enough thing. And especially if maybe we don't get Ultra Pro stuff, it's like, hey, I want an avatar deck box. Here's one way to get it, and you have some options. So the air one here, you can see that it has a mix of magic art, magic logos and avatar logos. So you can see you got the kind of magic planeswalker symbol here. Then you got the symbol that kind of represents white in magic, but you do also have the air logo down here. And then you kind of have the cloud texture across the entire thing. And of course, the interior color is kind of the other color that like Appa is kind of underneath his fur. So they're kind of going for a bit of Sky Bison, but also that like air is primarily white in the set. So it's kind of interesting there overall. Earth, of course, is your classic green and gold. So you, of course, have it in primarily in green. So you get the kind of forest symbol here. You get your magic symbol again. Earth logo here, plus the nice kind of earth repeating texture here. I think this one looks very, very cool. They're your card dividers here. And the interior is also the kind of green, kind of velvety kind of thing going on here. So that's nice. The fire one, you can see here, primarily in red. They don't have a black deck box here. And again, you have this repeating pattern. I do like the kind of bit coming down here, just to make it look a little bit different for the fire logo. And then on the inside, you can see here, also has red there. And then water, of course, in blue. You again have the repeating kind of wave pattern in the background on the water logo. I think it's kind of cool. Again, I'm leaning towards, in terms of accessories, kind of going into this set as like, okay, I'm just going to need a bulk amount of a certain amount of sleeves to sleeve up like the beginner box and any jumpstart packs that I get. I probably will get a separate binder or something like that for the avatar set, but I would like to get one of the avatar ones if Ultra Pro is doing that sort of stuff. Right now, of course, before the Ultra Pro stuff maybe does or doesn't get announced, I think the big thing that would be missing potentially from the lineup is just no way to get like avatar playmats. I have one because I got the White Schwartz playmat, but of course that's a difficult one to get because I got it because I was involved in like the preview season for Avatar White Schwartz, but like other people, you'd have to buy a full kind of a box of boxes to get that. So I hope Ultra Pro does do their thing so we can get like a bunch of different arts of different types of avatar sleeves and binders and the playmats as well. But also, you know, the more basic deck boxes as well. But I think it's cool. We seem to be getting at least a few different manufacturers doing kind of token things for Avatar with Beetle and Grimm here, Gatherer's Tavern. hopefully Ultra Pro, and of course Ultimate Guard have the Squareos stuff already, and they're doing kind of more of that. So that is kind of exciting just kind of by itself. But yeah, we still have a little bit to go. Like, we're still like a month and a half basically away from the Avatar kind of spoiler season kind of properly beginning. It's October 28th is the next time I think we're going to get a proper update on that. There might be like a card announcement at New York Comic Con, but you know, it's all end of October leading into November when the stuff is actually going to properly kind of kick off for Avatar Magic again. So yeah, I'm going to wrap up the video there. So let me know what your thoughts were on all of this stuff. Are you at all interested in the Fire and Family Treasury box set? Or are you going to wait for the newly announced Library Edition and or Omnibus Edition that is probably coming down the line? And then, yeah, do you have any interest? What's your strategy for Avatar kind of TCG accessories for the Magic set? Let me know below. But otherwise, that's been the video. Thanks for watching, and bye.